Well, hello, and welcome back to the Builder Dad Shop. I am Builder Dad Dan. And in this video, we are going to be making a bench dog. This is going to be using SketchUp and a few simple tools. So let's get started. As always, I use a 3D Connects Space Mouse, which enables me to kind of rotate through these drawings really easily. And I'm going to start off with a circle. It's going to be over here. You can either click it out of the toolbar, or you can hit C on your keyboard. I'm using a Windows operating system, so C gets you to a circle. All right, so let's get going. So I'm going to do a 3/4 inch bench dog. This is going to be for 3D printing. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a radius of 3/8. If you look in the bottom right hand corner of my screen there, you'll see where I can type that radius value in. So I start pulling it over and I get to that point. Then I'm going to type in 3/8, hit enter, and now I've got a circle. Oops, too far. Let's scroll on that. Now I've got a circle there with about 24 segments to it. You can see my segments are 24 right there. I've got a circle that if I measure from here to here should end up being 3/4 inch diameter. So let's just double check that. And sure enough, I've got a 3/4 inch diameter. All right, so this is going to be the base of my bench dog, or I should say the shaft protruding into my bench. So let's go ahead, and since this is going to be 3D printed, we're going to make this a little bit better here. The way I always do this is I go up to the segments section here, and I'm going to test this out by doing 20 or 48. So if I can tab that forward then on my keyboard, 48 segments are good. I'm going to try to go for 60, see what happens. 60 are good. About 72. 72 is good. Is 80 good? 80 is good. 90? 90 it does not like. So now I'm going to go ahead, split the difference there, say 85. 85 is good. What about 87? 87 it does not like. So let's see if 86 works. All right, so now what I've done is if you watch that circle as I was going, every time I change those segments, I actually increased the number of lines within this. So if we scroll down in here, you can see that there's little straight parts. Every circle has a straight part to it. And what I ended up doing was I ended up creating more segments to that. So I went from 24. When 3D printing, 24 segments at 3/4 would look very kind of blockish. Not like a block, but it'd be a circle block. Since I'm going to 3D print this, I wanted it to be as circle as possible. And so at 3/4, SketchUp will let me go as far as 86 segments. All right, so now that is going to be the shaft of my bench dog going into my bench. But I want to have a little bit bigger head to this. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to go to the offset tool right here on my keyboard. I'm going to click this right here. I'm going to take that, and if you notice, I'm scrolling along the line of my circle. All right, so I'm going to click on my circle there. I'm going to offset this, and now we've got a 3/4 inch. So now this is going to go outside of my bench just a little bit on my woodworking bench. And so I'm going to make this, I'm going to add approximately, let's add another, trying to think here, another quarter, 2/4. Let's add in 0.5. We're going to get a big circle here. Okay, so now I've got a pretty decent sized dog that's going to come up. So now what I can do here is I want to protrude this through my bench 1 inch. Well, so let's do this. Let's make this 1 1/4. So that way I get this. And then down here, I'm going to click on this face here. I should probably back up a little bit there. What I end up clicking up, I'm going to Control Z to go backwards, is I hit P on my keyboard. P also pulls up the push-pull tool. So I can click into the face that I want to go pull. I'm going to click that face right there. I'm going to lift up on it to go on the blue axis. And I'm going to go back there and repeat that 125. 125 is what I'm typing in. 125 equals 1 1/4. Hit enter, and there we go. I'm going to go ahead and lift this one up now, and I'm going to say 0.25 so I can get that 1/4 inch diameter. If you look down that bottom right hand corner, it's listed at 1/4 now as well. All right, so now I've got that, but now I've got a hollow circle in here. So what do I do to fix this? Well, what I can easily do is I can take a pencil. So over here on the toolbar, the pencil tool, I can hit L on my keyboard for line, and I can go ahead and just draw across. Now when I draw across like that, it goes ahead and completes that circle. What I can do to double check this and make sure that I've got good clean geometry is I can always come up to view here, and I can go to face style, and I can say X-ray. Now for me, I created a shortcut Control R for this. There's ways to do that. And so what you can do is you can then see inside the circle. So in this case here, you can see I've got many different lines, but this is going to go ahead and draw that out. So what I'm going to come in here and do is I'm going to go ahead and really quickly, I don't want any of that internal geometry there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those lines in there with the eraser. And the reason for that, if I use the eraser there and clean all that up, is that now I'm going to have a solid object in there when I go ahead to 3D print this. With those lines in there, it can cause problems on the 3D printed tool. All right, so now what I can do is I can, since I've got a shortcut for this, I can hit Control R, or I could have gone back up there to the views and gone to the edge, the face style, and change that off the X-ray. Go back here real quick, and I'm going to hit Eraser E on my keyboard. So click up there or hit E on my eraser tool, and I'm going to go ahead and remove those lines. Now, if we look at this, I have a very nice short head bench dog. This is going to print on my 3D printer, and it's going to allow me to have a 1/4 inch up. So if I was doing sanding, say I was doing sanding on a piece of material, and that piece of material was roughly 3/4 inch tall, I'd have a 1/4 inch of that done, so I would clearly clear the sander on that. It'd be a short head on this, and then I've got a length on this from there to there of, should have been 1/2 inch. So I've got a pretty wide dog on this with a pretty wide head. And there we go. That is my wide head bench dog. What I could do is if I wanted to flatten, so these are all straight pretty good here, but say I wanted to flatten out one of these ends, what I could do here is say go from the center piece here, I could come down this axis right here, and let's say we're going to come out here and go 1 inch out. Oops. Why was that tape measure? Back to this. So you can hit the tape measure tool to test all these things out. So let's see, it was 3/8 plus 5/8. So the that's why 1 inch isn't right. Real quick here, tape measure tool right there. Okay, so why was that not right? Well, my diameter was 3/8 of an inch, or not my diameter. My radius was 3/8 of an inch. My radius was 3/8 plus half. Half is 4/8, so 7/8 total. So when I hit 1 inch, I'm coming out way past that. So I know if I have a radius of, or a radius of 3/8 on my center circle, so 3/8 this way, and then I've got a 1/2 inch over here. What I could end up doing then is I could say, well, let's go ahead and let's make that 3/8. So right here, I'm going to make one side flat. And so what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to come across this. Oops. I'm going to go ahead. If I hit right on my keyboard, it's going to lock in the red axis. I'm going to lock in that red axis there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Lock in that red axis. Okay. And there we go. Now I've got this line right here. So what am I going to do with that? Well, I'm going to come down here and let's see if I can Actually, we're going to do it like this. We're going to click this face here. See how that face is lit up? Now I could walk that line down on both sides and try to cut this out, or I could come here and hit the push-pull tool. Again, hitting it up here in this bar, or clicking P on my keyboard, and I can go ahead and scroll it down. And right here I can set offset limit as 1/4. And when I get to this point here, when I click it, it's going to go ahead. Oops, it's going to show me those lines. Why didn't that just get rid of that? Let's go ahead and we're going to offset this and touch the back face frame. And it leaves me some lines. That's okay, no big deal. What we're going to do here is we're going to click this and delete. And now that's gone. Now I have one side that's going to be flat on that bench dog, the other side that's going to hold it together. What this will allow me to do is then I'll have two different ways of basically connecting with material there. So I'm going to come back here with my eraser tool, hit that line out, hill that line out there, and there we go. We have a new bench dog. Looks good to me. If it looks good to you, then we'll go ahead and print that out. One thing I can do is if I print multiple of these, I could always take this and then design something that would fit over top of this to span bench dog to bench dog, and that might be a cool adaptation for next time. All right, well, again, this was the Builder Dad Shop. I am Builder Dad Dan, and this was a video on how to make a bench dog. Primarily used in this video, we had the eraser tool, we had the circle tool, we had the line tool, we also had the offset tool, and the push-pull tool. Now all those tools can be found if we looked into the toolbars. This is the large tool set that I've got displayed over here on the left hand side, and that's where all those came out of. They could come out of other tool sets as well, but this is the large tool set primarily used here on the left hand bar. If you look at my screen and how it's set up, I've got the large tool set up here. I've got different toolbars up top there with basic file commands. Up here, the faces and views, the layers themselves, or yeah, the layers, the tags, sorry, tags in this version. The tags are shown up there. And then I've also got some tools for dynamic componentry. Here's 3D warehouses, and then solid objects, and then also one of my downloaded warehouse components for inspecting on solid objects. All right, and now that was the video. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments, and I hope that you have a great day and learn something from this video. All right, till later, take care.